I have one club or shaft parallel to the camera line. Then I'm going to get my 6-iron. The reason I'm using a 6-iron is that the lie angle is right around 60 degrees, which is the benchmark that we're using for this test. I'm going to start by putting the 6-iron grooves down and get the sole of the club resting snug against the shaft that's on the ground. So now when I look down, I have the shaft of that 6-iron coming at 60 degrees from the shaft that's parallel to the camera screen. The next thing I'm going to do is set up with my right foot pointed dead straight ahead. I'm going to have my left foot out of the way, up on the ball of the foot. That's just for balance. And then you're going to use another shaft or club. I have an alignment stick. I'm going to put that just below my belt line on the front of my hips. With my hands open and in nice and close, I'm going to press that into my hips. The reason I say keeping my hands close and open is that when people hold it out here, they tend to cheat and allow the shaft to come off their hips. So hands in close, and then from here, all I'm going to do is simply rotate as far as I can, keeping my right foot flat on the ground and the shaft against my hips. And what we're looking for is, does this shaft on my hips get to equal or greater than the shaft on the ground? And for me here it doesn't. I'm a little bit short. So this is mainly looking at internal rotation in my right hip, which is going to be very important in the backswing. And that would be a 60-degree amount of rotation, which is pretty challenging, at least for me, and I'm a little bit short here. We're going to keep the same setup, and we're going to test your left leg doing the same test, and this would be more external rotation on the left hip. Usually this is much easier than having the right foot down and going in the same direction, if we think of this as the backswing direction for a right-handed golfer. So here, shaft tight against the hips, rotate as far as we can, and that's much, much easier. So it's rare that that's an issue compared to the other side. Now what we're going to do is flip the club over so that we get the 60-degree angle in the other direction. So this time we're going to have the grooves up. We're going to have the sole flat against the shaft that's on the ground. Going to have my left foot pointed dead straight ahead towards the camera. Again, the shaft against my hips in nice and close. Right foot is up on the toes, out of the way. And then from here, I'm going to rotate to the left as far as I can. And this would be internal rotation on my left side. And I'm a bit short here as well, maybe 10 or 15 degrees or so. So that's mainly looking at internal rotation on the left hip. We're then going to do the same thing by looking at the right side, and this will be more external on the right side. So looking at both sides in the downswing direction. And again, this one is a lot easier. Reasonably challenging test. As we said at the start, don't worry too much if you can't pass all of them. So now when I look down at this here, I have a 45-degree stick coming out on each side. And that's going to allow me assess my torso rotation in each direction. So I'm going to sit in the middle of the grid here, and I have 45 degrees going in each side. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to get a golf club or shaft. I'm going to put it across the very top of my shoulders. I don't want it down lower where I could cheat by pushing with my shoulder. And then from here, very simply, keeping my feet and ankles, knees together, I'm going to rotate my torso as far as I can to the right, which would be the direction of the backswing. And then from here, I'm going to take a little peek down and see if I can get that shaft past the stick that's on the ground this way. And I'm slightly past here, maybe 5 degrees or so, which is about 50 degrees of thoracic rotation. So we want to see, are you less than, equal to, or greater than that shaft that's on the ground? This one is usually a little bit easier for right-handers in the backswing, because that's what they practice more in their golf swing. And then we're also going to look in the other direction. So rotating to the left as far as I can. Once I've done that, taking a little peek down and seeing if I can get past it. This is the shoulder flexion test. Shoulder flexion is simply the motion of our arm coming up overhead. It's really important on particularly the lead arm in the golf swing. The reason why is if we take this overhead arm position and then we simply hinge over into golf posture and rotate, that's very much the position that our arm needs to be able to get to in the backswing. If we're limited in range of motion in that movement, we're going to have a hard time potentially making a backswing that's as long as we would like to give ourselves a good chance of maximizing our power. How we can isolate and test the shoulder flexion movement is with this against the wall. So we're going to come about 6 inches out from the wall. I'm going to get all of my back flat against the wall. So a mistake people make on this is they arch their lower back off the wall. So I want you to feel like your lower back's against the wall as well as your mid back and hopefully the back of your head. You're going to have one hand on your ribs here, just so that will help you resist arching. And then from here, you're going to bring one arm, keeping the elbow straight up to the same height as your shoulder. And then all you're going to try and do is see if you can raise that arm overhead and get your thumb to touch the wall. Okay? We want to do that without bending the elbow, and we want to do it without arching the back off the wall. Because if we arch the back off the wall, we're taking the demand off the shoulder and lat and making it easier. So very simple, lower back flat against the wall, arm straight, keep the arm straight, keep it going directly overhead, seeing if we can get back here. Not going out to the side, not bending the elbow. Try on one side and then try on the other side. Ideally, we want to be able to do this on both sides, but definitely more important to be able to do it on the lead arm. This is the 90-90 external shoulder rotation test, and we're going to be looking at how much external rotation you have in each shoulder. To do this, you're going to set up in golf posture. You're going to get your arm out in line with your shoulder. Then from here, you're going to flex your elbow to 90 degrees, and then you're going to try and rotate the back of your hand towards the ceiling. What we're looking for when we get to this position is, can we get our forearm to greater than our spine angle? You can use the seam on your shirt as a goal here. I'm usually short on this by quite a bit. So try to go to here and then rotate up. The reason why we're trying to see if you can get 90 degrees or more of this